Alright everybody, welcome back to my garage. Glad to have you here. Before I even get into the thick of this, don't forget to subscribe because I got even more cool stuff planned coming down the line. But for today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be replacing my factory lights that I did a LED bulb shootout with in a previous video. I'm going to be replacing them with these. These are the Morimoto plug and play lights. They're really, really cool. Seriously, plug and play. All you got to do is plug that into the factory connector and put these in the right spot, one screw there, and these things are done and in place. I got these from Vette Lights. I've found that I've got the best price and the best service on just about anything Corvette light related. So be sure, if you have some Corvette lighting needs, check out VetteLights.com. They're really, really awesome to work with. Great selection too. So here's what I'm going to do. Obviously, I've already cracked this open, but I got some footage of me unboxing them, and then I'm going to do some comparisons of the factory lights versus these awesome Terminator Eye type of lights. They really do look like it. All right, here we go. Okay, got the instructions. Check those out in a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's get a better look at this. First and foremost, it's got some weight to it. It doesn't feel like a cheap item. The lens itself looks pretty thick and feels pretty thick. What's interesting is that I didn't know that it would have this indentation here. I thought it'd be smooth all the way over like a factory taillight housing. Not a big deal. So on the back side of it, you have some sort of ballast type of thing, either that or it's a resistor pack, because you don't need to wire in additional resistors. And obviously the harness, and this just connects up to the factory plug. So here's a little tip. In fact, it's even included in the instructions, saying that the connector is likely to break due to the long-term use of the lights. Okay. In other words, what they're saying is that the connector pieces on the factory harness, they get brittle after a while. And guess what? They weren't kidding. First time I tried it, and this thing came off. So they do give you some ideas on what to do, and one is to zip tie this connector here to the factory harness, which makes sense. That's pretty much what you have to do with just about any vehicle when they get brittle and the tabs break off. Not a big deal at all. The other thing, and this is kind of important, is that we have this white connector right here. And the idea for that is to have a sort of sequential lighting effect if you disconnect this. And according to the instructions here, for example, if this is a right-hand side one, when you hit the brake, it would light up in a circular motion. Unfortunately, that doesn't work, and there's a good reason why. Apparently, there was a problem with these to where if you had the sequential light operation enabled by disconnecting this connector, there was a delay from the time you hit the brakes until the time that the housing started to light up. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think that's a very good thing. The whole idea for brake lights is to be seen the instant you hit the brakes, not a 1 second delay. So it's not a deal breaker for me. I know it might be for other people out there, but I would rather have solid and accurate brake lights than to put on a little light show for everybody. Although I know sequential would probably get somebody's attention a little bit better. That 1 second delay, no, not cool in my book. So not a big deal. Let's get these hooked up and see what they look like. Okay, so I got this hooked up to my power supply, and I'm gonna connect it to the running light. There we go. It looks good. It's very uniform. It's very even for what it's worth. I think the reflectors have something to do with that, or the diffusers, if you will. It might look a little orange in the video just because of how the camera shows it, but it's definitely noticeably red. And then the brake light, get in there. ooh, dead on, that's pretty bright. And again, you probably can't tell from the video, but it's definitely bright, it's definitely noticeable. So it works great. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell from the video, but the distinction between the running lights and the brake lights is very much more so noticeable than the previous LED lights that I have. These really jump out at you when it comes by comparison. So when you go from LED lights in the factory housings to the new Morimoto lights from Vette Lights, huge difference. It definitely, it's brighter, it's more intense. These look great, but these really get your attention. I don't want people rear-ending me, and that's a big deal to me. So, hands down, after all the testing I did with LED bulbs and in the factory housings, these things just jump right out, no question. Okay, once again, thanks to VetteLights.com for great service and really cool to work with. So, what's the verdict here? I'm kind of torn. I like them. I like the light that they put out. I like the design. I like that the fact that they're LED plug and play. You don't need any resistors or resistor harnesses or any custom fabrication of any kind of harness or cutting and splicing, anything like that. I'm just not sure I'm sold on the color, because I kind of expected them to be kind of darker or even red. So here's the thing. I noticed on the box that there's a check mark for smoked, which I guess these are slightly, you can tell, and then red, which is unchecked on my box that these came in. So I think down the line, I did some research, and I think down the line they're going to be making these in red instead of tinted, and I think that would probably look a little bit better. What I else think would be really cool is if a company like Laminex made just like a ring that goes around there so we can tint that part too with different colors. I know people like to do that as well. So tell you what, like I said at the beginning of this this video, subscribe, because if those red ones come out, I'm going to get my hands on them right away, and then I'm going to review them and compare them to these guys right here. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'm going to go out and cruise around.